This clip is thinking about the battle ahead, about the trials to come in the future over trust and faith. If you go back to the story of Adam and Eve in those earliest days of creation, they got on famously until a snake arrived. And he had a little word with Eve, because Eve saw that the fruit of the tree, forbidden fruit, was good, and but the snake said, "Well, why do you have it?" She said, well, the trouble is that God says that we'll die if we have it. No, yeah, won't die, gosh. And Eve believed him, and she gave in to this. Now, the interesting is that this is the original battle that Satan has with people of faith. This is it. This describes the big one. This is the strategy of Satan that caused the fall from which all our troubles have come. So it's terribly, terribly important that we look seriously at the nature of this fight. Satan managed to persuade Eve that Father God was maybe Father God, he might be Almighty God, but he was also just a sort of party pooper. Really, he just wanted to make life miserable for them. Really, that all that God says is not necessarily true. You believe what you want to believe. And Eve looked at the fruit and she saw that it was good for eating and for gaining wisdom and so on. So she gave in and did it. So the great fundamental trick of Satan's in attacking Christianity, in attacking our faith in God, is to persuade us that he is a different sort of character than he really is. Paul had that problem in various letters he wrote to the churches. We have that exact problem today. This is the fight that we're going to have to get into in order to avoid the works of darkness that are spreading through so many lives. The real problem is that Satan, the enemy, whatever you want to call him, is still keeping up that original strategy of trying to persuade us that God is something other than what he is. And by moving our prayer life, by moving our ritual life in the church around a bit, over the centuries, we are now in a place where we know that we can say we trust God because he's good and we trust him to be good, but that is not the same. It is not the same as trusting and totally relying on Jesus to getting us out of the mess that we are in. It also denies the cross to some extent, which Satan would love to do. The cross is the one thing that hurts him. The one thing that will cause his eventual death is the cross, because Jesus, came all the way into our hell because he didn't with us. He came to hell with us because he didn't want to go to heaven without us. And here we have Satan up to his old tricks all the way through our lives, through church, through everywhere in Christianity, saying, actually, I know Jesus, the cross is an open door that grace is pouring through all the time, and our rising trust will meet that. But oh no, God doesn't always do that. No, he doesn't always want to. No, he's got all sorts of reasons for not giving you what you want. And he has persuaded us in Christianity that God is different than he was in Jesus' day. And that is the great untruth. So, I want to encourage every one of us to fight that battle in future. There will be times when apparently prayers are not answered. There will be times when loved ones die when we didn't want them to. There will be all sorts of awful things happen in the future, and there will be some prayers. There'll be a lot more prayers won by adopting the kingdom way, but there will be still ones that are not won, and we shan't know why, and we shan't understand it, but we must keep hanging on to our image of Christ, the image of Jesus, the character of the man God who was risen from the scriptures, the man who never refused grace to anybody, the God who never refuses grace to anybody at all.